Good evening, welcome to Germany again, but specifically Norisring, the street circuit, home of DTM. This is the Crest Autosport Raceroom Leagues featuring the DTM 1992s, the second of a two-part series that we're hosting in this early part of 2021. Round 4 today at Norisring, and today's servers are brought to you by the GP Box, the online motorsport marketplace for motorsport merchandise and memorabilia. The prizes for these drivers at the end of this league in a few weeks' time, presented by Freem UK and lovely stickers. Tonight's track, as we said, the Norisring Speed weekend, as it said on the wall there, in Zeppelin Field, Nuremberg, southern Germany, 160 kilometers north of Munich. The circuit was first introduced in 1947 with many different layouts, always been a street circuit though, and the layout as we know it right now has been a part of the Norisring race since 1972. It's a very simple layout with only 4 corners requiring braking, 6 turns in total on this track with 2 to the right and 4 to the left, 2 very notable hairpins on either side of the track, and of course the S curve in the middle of the circuit. We'll see a lot of action. The track only costs £2.59 on Raceroom, so get your hands on it. It's a very, very good and rare breed of good street circuits where they're laser scanned, which is basically the most accurate sim racing circuit you can get. But over the years, Norisring has hosted many DTM races, so it is rather fitting for tonight. Ever since the late 1980s, it has hosted DTM races. Tonight, we have a total of 60 minutes of competitive driving for you tonight. 10 minutes of qualifying to come up in just over 5 minutes' time. 10-minute sprint race to follow almost immediately after. The grid is based on qualifying, of course, as it usually is. Race 2 to follow that, a 10-minute sprint race following immediately after race 1, where the grid is based on the top 8 results of race 1 reversed. So if you finish first, you'll start 8th for race 2, and if you finish 8th, of course, you'll start pole for race 2. After race 2, we'll go for a quick intermission where we'll set up race 3, the 30-minute feature race, where there's triple the time, there's also triple the points on offer for the drivers, and the grids for that will be based on qualifying. So qualifying in this series is very, very important. We started off all them weeks ago, the beginning of the year, at Brands Hatch for the opening round of this 92 DTM Championship. This 92 Championship coincides with a DTM 2020 Championship, which we saw last week if you tuned in to watch Salzburg Ring. But round 2 of the 2020s was the second week of January at Brands Hatch Grand Prix as well. And it was straight back to the 92s at Zandvoort in the Netherlands, and Oschersleben for the first German circuit of the season. Zolder was round 3 and the last round we had of these 92s back in February, a month ago exactly, and the final round of the opening half of the season at Lauschitzring for the DTM 2020s. Last week was the opening round of the second half of the season for the 2020s, where we were at Salzburg Ring in the Austrian mountains. Norisring today, where it's the only street circuit installation of the season. Hockenheim will take place next week in the DTM 2020s, and in 2 weeks from today we'll be in the Czech Republic for the Autodrom Most circuit. We don't have Brno on here, so we'll go to Most instead. And then the final 2 rounds of the championship are both in the Nürburgring facility. The Nürburgring GP circuit on the 23rd of March, the finale of the DTM 2020s, and the finale for the entire thing, the Nordschleife, on the 6th of April, which is 2 weeks after the Nürburgring finale. But the finale for the whole thing, there is a combined championship, there are also individual championships, so there's plenty to look out for in this championship. So here we go, let's have a bit of a sit rep on what's going on. At the moment we've got 18 drivers in the server right now, our usual amount, but a couple of new faces. today, this driver being one of them. So Øyvind Andersen, son of Øyvind Andersen, who's had a few appearances this season. They're in 13th in the gold and white Mercedes there. We also have Alex Ward, who is a familiar face if you've been watching our next gen broadcasts. So he just slips and slides coming out of the hairpin. He's bravely taken the Mustang, but welcome to Alex Ward for his first race in the Crest Autosport Raceroom Leagues today. Do we have any more new faces? Well, we haven't got a new face in Jamie Dory, but it is a returning Jamie Dory who took part in Brands Hatch all them weeks ago. And not a bad resumption from him, being second place in practice at the moment. So there's a little bit about the field today. Let's go through a little bit more housekeeping. So we've been through the itinerary. We'll go through the spec of the cars. So there's plenty of cars on show today. In fact, we're going to see all of them on show today. The Audi, one of the most popular cars in the field. Not the most horsepower, 460, but it's the heaviest car, and of course its drivetrain being four-wheel drive, so it has a significant advantage in some aspects of racing over the others, which are all rear-wheel drive. The BMW, not featuring much today. Usually it's taken up by our Swedish residents of Lindberg and Holmberg, but many of them missing today. A couple of them are ill, a couple of them have other things in their plans today, but Cameron McPhail, who hasn't set a time in practice, he's the only BMW driver in the field right now. Rather a surprise. Ford Mustang, which isn't very popular, but it is popular today. 3 of them on show today, and it's a track that actually suits the Mustang really well. Being that it's a very, very long, fast, straight, predominantly straight circuit, horsepower helps for the Mustang on this track. The Mercedes, another popular car in the field, has had a physics change recently, so people are struggling to get accustomed to that, but that features in the field today. And the Opel Omega, which we're actually watching right now on board with Øyvind Andersen, the only one bearing the Opel in the field, but at least it's in the field. So we did mention earlier about points. So here is how the points work in this championship. We were mentioning it earlier as the feature race has triple points. So the regular amount you can see on the left there, 40 downward for the heats in the feature race later on in the evening, is triple in each position. And the ballast in the third column you can see there is adjacent to the position, and it is based on where you qualify. So where you qualify, 1st to 8th, will be how much ballast you carry for the feature race later on in the night. So qualifying first has its pros, but its con is you get weight later on in the night. Of course, we'll go through the championship standings just before we get going. So, all them weeks ago at Zolder, it was Alex Foyle who qualified on pole position at Zolder, with Jeff Perkis, fellow Audi driver, in 2nd place, and Ian Deeney took 3rd place, first of the non-Audis. Heat 1 was won by Alex Foyle, lights the flag victory, with Albin Kielgren coming in 2nd place and Andy Withers in 3rd. Alex Foyle took another win in Heat 2. But his brother coming close behind in 2nd place. Jeff Perkis taking 3rd place. Redemption for a difficult first heat he had that day. William Foyle has won every single feature race this season. He is the master of long distance driving, and particularly in these cars where he's mastering conserving the tyres to the end. He took the win in the feature race, with Ian Deeney coming through 2nd place and Petter Nyström in 3rd. And the championship, well, unsurprisingly, William Foyle, if you've been following this the season via these broadcasts, you'll know that William Foyle is doing a very, very good job there and leading from the front, as he has done all season pretty much. But Emil Holmberg follows in 2nd place. He's having a good, consistent season, not many highlighting results, but scoring plenty of points above his competitors to get himself in 2nd place. Compatriot Ollie Jansen in the Mustang in 3rd place there. Stefan Navalov in 4th place, who is missing tonight, but there are drop rounds on offer in this championship, so missing a round is not so detrimental. And Jeff Perkis in 5th place there. As we mentioned, your championship position coming into tonight is how much ballast you'll carry for races 1 and 2 as well as qualifying. So William Foyle, being the championship leader, will carry the most ballast of 40 kilos. in tonight's qualifying and races. There is also an overall championship to consider, and as we get later on in the season, this becomes very, very important. William Foyle leading both championships, and of course that's going to add up to him leading the overall by nearly 300 points above Jeff Perkis, who has competed in both. Ben Payne, who's doing very, very well in the 2020s, it's adding up for him here in the overall as he sits third there. So here we go, qualifying has just started, and we're watching Alex Foyle, who was quickest in practice, do his outlap, warming up the tyres a little bit. Here's a larger scale map of the circuit, so round about the centre of the screen is where the pits are. Alex Foyle is coming around the chicane there, a bit loose on the exit of it, but really not many corners, so you can't actually see behind our overlay the final corner, but only 4, as we mentioned, braking corners on this circuit, so there's not many chances to overtake, there's not many chances to get the upper hand of your opponent. It is all about maximising those 4 corners. But without further ado, we will go on board with Alex Foyle himself to give us a tour of the Norisring circuit as we come across the line. Underneath the crane that's holding the lights up, and almost 150, in fact 150 miles per hour going down into turn 1, heavy braking down to first gear, 30 miles per hour almost. Around the hairpin, flat to the floor, and up towards the S-curve. First right-hander, second gear, and the left-hander. Plenty of understeer and hits the wall there, Alex Foyle does. Probably want to go for a better lap next time, but then flatter all the way round this short right curve, and heavy braking into the final braking zone on the circuit. Sharp left down to nearly 30 miles per hour again. You want a good early throttle point on that corner to get all the speed down this straight, close as you can to the wall there. Alex Foyle, you'll see lots of people take it to the right of this straight here. Some people keep it tight on the left. But Alex Foyle crosses the line with a 54.4, so not a bad opening lap for Alex, but I'm sure there's more in the bag for him. Across the line comes Albin Kjellgren to put himself 6th place, as we've seen there. Jeff Perkis has put himself 2nd place right behind Alex Foyle. Jeff has been very, very quick this season. So we're watching Alex Foyle again on a purple sector. But yeah, just to mention Jeff Perkis, he's won 1 race this season in the 92s, and that was the opening heat of, I can't remember where it was now. I cannot remember where the second round was. It's just gone blank. Zandvoort, there we go. Zandvoort. Yeah, here we go with Alex Foyle across the line. Could this be a 53 lap for him? Invalidated. Oh, I'm not sure how he managed that. Oh no, it was, sorry. Yeah, usually it tells you your split times. Well, it doesn't tell you split times when you've invalidated it, but he did set it, and that's a 53.9 for Alex Foyle. Hugely quicker than everyone else so far, and that will take some beating. Not many got into the 53s in practice, if any. I think it was only Alex Foyle who did. But across the line comes newcomer to the series, Alex Ward. He puts it into 2nd place. Not a bad start at all for the Mustang driver. Mustang's in 2nd, 3rd at the moment. And speaking of which, is Jamie Dory on a faster lap than before. Had to take an easier exit from the hairpin there. Come round the final corner. Across the line, will it be an improvement? I think it is, yes it is. So, 1/4 of a second down from Alex Foyle still, but gets himself into 2nd place. This is Albin Kjellgren. Oh, a mistake coming out the final hairpin, and was up on his splits. A purple 1st sector, in fact, and a pretty good 2nd sector. He'll have to try again, another lap. It's a very short lap. There's going to be a lot going on in this session. But still only 10 minutes to do your times, and we're nearly halfway already. Another Mustang. This is Alex Ward yet again. Comes across the line with a good opening sector. Not such a good sector 3 though. That keeps him in 3rd place at the moment. Jamie Dory, purples all round. Could this be the lap that gets him into provisional pole position? Not a bad exit from that hairpin at all. Round the final corner he comes. Let's see if he gets it. He's got a little bit of help in front of him, a little bit of slipstream. Across the line he goes. That definitely puts him into pole position, a 53.7. Not bad from Jamie Dory at all. That will take some beating. The man who returns on his sporadic visits to the championship. Ole Jansen, another Mustang. They're going very strong today. Can he get himself further up? Certainly looks at a 54.9. That puts him further. Oh, it doesn't. Sorry, it keeps him where he was, and he dropped one place as Albin Kilgren right behind him gained a position. A lot of cars here on this back straight. Jamie Dory bursting through. He's not on a flying lap. Oh, as we saw the Opel going off there, that is Oyvind Andersen, a mangled front end on the Opel there. He'll have to reset to the pits and try another outing with less than half a session to go. So it's really, really competitive. You've got to be so on it, particularly on a short and narrow track like Norisring here today. That's Tor Oyvind Andersen going slow there. Tor's first race of the season, in 10th at the moment. And this is looking at Scott McLean, Crest Autosport's Assetto Corsa host. Do check out the Assetto Corsa group to have a look at that. And Scott goes 10th, not bad at all from him. Tonga Guardia, transatlantic resident. One of them anyway. He comes across the line. Does go quicker, but doesn't improve his position. Stays 12th at the moment. William Foyle, championship leader, only 7th at the moment. But we did mention earlier the Mercedes is struggling with the new physics that have been deployed onto Raceroom recently, but goes a little bit quicker. That is much quicker, and that puts him into 3rd place. Not bad from William Foyle at all. Now, he won't be so disappointed with 3rd place, albeit that he drops a little bit of ballast for the final race of the day. If he hangs on to 3rd place, he'll drop to 30 kilos, and it still gets him a good position on the grid. So we won't be so disappointed about that, particularly that Jamie Dory is not in contention for the championship. So if Jamie Dory runs away with the race honours here, it doesn't really affect William Foyle that much. But one of William Foyle's championship rivals, Emil Holmberg, not racing tonight. It will be a drop round, which is your worst round zeroed. Of course, if you didn't turn up to a round, that is your drop round. Worst thing you do is drop more than one round. Miss more than one round. So, Alex Foyle goes quicker. Oh, and he's only half a tenth behind Jamie Dory. He's in the 53.7. It's so close between them two. And a lot of drivers reset into the pits. They might want to go back out and try one last gasp at a quick lap as Ole Jansen comes across the line. Doesn't go any quicker. He stays 9th. A lot of drivers coming out the pits back there. A few Audis and a Merc. Oh, and Ole Jansen couldn't quite get around the hairpin here. There's Jamie Dory coming across the line. Good splits, but I don't think it's good enough to beat his time. No, it isn't. So he'll try again. He's got time to do 2 more laps, I think. Foyle quick, very quick in sector 2, and he's got someone in front of him dragging along. I think that's his brother William Foyle. Onto the home stretch he comes. Can he get lower into the 53s? Oh, that's close. It's a 7.50. It's even closer than it was before. There's so much in the tank potential for Alex Foyle. 2 tenths down. Jamie Dory's trying, but he isn't going much quicker at the moment. Particularly with those split times, he will have one more opportunity when he comes across the line next time by. What can Alex Foyle do? Oh, nothing particularly with hitting the wall there, and he retires the car. That'll be it, probably. That'll be Jamie Dory on pole, unless Alex Ward has something to answer to that, being the closest in contention. Less than half a second off, but he resets through the pits. That might be it. That might be Jamie Dory, the next-gen resident, on pole position. A very dynamic qualifying session we had there. It went by so quickly. 10 minutes really isn't much to get your time on the board. Snooze you lose kind of situation. See if anyone else is on a fly. Albin Kilgren, purple first sector, but a green second sector, and he's got a bit of draft in front of him. That might have been Tonga Guardia in front of him. Across the line comes Albin Kilgren. From 8th to staying 8th Yeah, so the way Raceroom displays the time's a little bit odd, so it's a bit delayed. But 8th for Orban Kilgren, and across the line, Jamie Dory. There you go, there's your classified results of qualifying here at Norisring. Jamie Dory puts it on pole position, just 2/10 ahead of Alexander Foyle in the Audi. Third is Alex Ward, the newcomer for tonight, with William Foyle in 4th place. He's our championship leader coming into tonight. Jeff Perkins in 5th there, with Alexander Jakobsen 6th. Ian Deeney 7th. 8th is Orban Kilgren. Ollie Hansen 9th. And Scott McLean 10th. We'll get those results back up for you. That's just what Raceroom does, unfortunately. So there we go. So we continue where we left off. 11th place, Tor Oyvind Andersen, his first race of the season. He qualifies 11th, with 12th, Tonga Guardia. 13th for Cameron McPhail, and in 14th, Ben Payne. 15th, Ben Sisko, otherwise known as Frank Tennant, and Gabriel Lopez in 16th. Oyvind Andersen in 17th on his return to the championship in the Opel, and 18th. Last of the runners, Roll TK. So there we go. Jamie Dory doing a little bit of warming up in the warm-up session. Ready for the start. Now the thing is, granted Jamie Dory's on pole position, but alongside him is an Audi, and well, the Audis being four-wheel drive, they do get off the line very, very well compared to these rear-wheel drive cars. Almost no wheel spin, they just take off. So don't be surprised if you see Alex Foyle take the lead going into turn 1. But Jamie Dory has got himself at the front nonetheless. Keep an eye on Jeff Perkins as well. He starts 5th. He might be able to blast his way past the 2 Mustangs and 1 Mercedes starting in front of him. It's a big opportunity with a long run down into turn 1. That's Alex Ward practicing his starts. These cars are significantly old, so there's no launch control on these. It is dip the clutch, first gear, and then lift off as soon as the lights are green. Or stay in neutral and just flick up the first gear as soon as the lights are green, because you can do that in sim racing. And there we go. So we're about to get underway for round 4 of the Crest Autosport Raceroom League's DTM 1992 edition here at Norisring, the street circuit in southern Germany. This is Crest Autosport providing these leagues and entertainment for you. My name's Alex Everett, your commentator tonight. Hope you enjoy the racing tonight. I'm sure we will. We always do with these DTMs. So the drivers line up on the grid. Jamie Dory in the black Mustang on the left, Alex Foyle in the red and grey Audi on the right. Second row is Alex Ward and William Foyle, but Jamie Dory lines up. Pole position, lights are red. Away we go, and it's a brilliant start for the Audis. Mustangs struggle, get away. Alex Foyle jumps into the lead, and it was a jump start for Oyvind Andersen back there. Alex Foyle comes into turn 1 as leader, and look at all them Audis at the front there. Jeff Perkins in 3rd, Jakobsen 4th. And look at that, up the inside is Orban Kilgren, and there's loads of cars going up the inside on turn 1. That is Tonga Guardia going into 9th there, and at the back everyone gets through safely. Coming into the 3rd and 4th corner is just an Audi trail. Foyle, Perkins and Jakobsen. Jamie Dory dropped all the way to 4th so far. Kilgren is threatening him as well. Trying the inside, going into the hairpin. Here goes Kilgren. He backs out of it, and look at that, Alex Ward trying the inside of Orban Kilgren. Has to back out of it eventually. This is Jakobsen, 3rd place. Now let's see how much the slipstream works in these cars. This is the view from Jakobsen, quite a far way back from Perkins. This is Perkins now into turn 1. Oh, and he was very late braking there for Jeff Perkins. Keep keep an eye on the driver's back here. That's Ben Sisko on the outside of Cameron McPhail, and it's a sandwich for McPhail as Sisko and Oyvind Anderson sandwich the BMW in, the only BMW in the field. Still side by side coming into the S-curve. McPhail gets in front of Tennant. Oh, and McPhail peeled off there, not sure what happened to him. But Sisko gets the position back towards the front. This is Jakobsen right behind Jeff Ferguson, a much shallow exit from the corner from Jakobsen as Foyle gets away more than a second clear. Oh no, look at that, that is Ben Sisko stopping almost in the hairpin, not sure what happened to him there. And pushing to get past him was, I believe, Scott McLean in front of him. Yes, it was. But on the inside, that is Jeff Perkins. On the outside, sorry, of Jakobsen. Jakobsen got up the inside and gets in front of Jeff Perkins. He's gone straight into the wall. Could not control the car coming out the corner, and he's gone straight into the tyre wall, damaged his front end. That's going to drop him down the order, and that's out of the race for Jeff Perkins. Race over already for him. 5th in the championship coming into tonight, so will this have a big effect on him? Maybe. But out in front, Alex Foyle rocketing away. Jakobsen gets second place. He did nothing wrong there. It was Jeff Perkins getting the power down way too early. And we've got Albin Kjellgren right behind Jamie Dory. Just having a look around for Alex Ward, who started 4th place down to 9th place. It hasn't been a very easy start for him, but Ian Deeney and Tonga Guardia have moved up positions as well. Very impressive starts from them today. That is Tonga Guardia on the inside of Janssen into the hairpin. 7th place for Tonga Guardia at the moment. Brilliant start to the race for him. Through the S-curve, Kjellgren right behind Jamie Dory. He's got to contend with these 4-wheel drive Audis who just have so much grip on certain parts of the track, but they are heavier, much heavier. And they have to brake a lot earlier. Look how much Jamie Dory gains on Jakobsen. Hit him on the rear and had to back out of it eventually. Down to 4th place goes Jamie Dory. Slight mistake with braking too late. I think I might have jinxed him a little bit there. I have a tendency to do that. But down to 4th he goes. This is on board with Janssen behind the fellow Mustang of Alex Ward. And look at Alex Ward all over. Tonga Guardia here coming down the front straight. This will put Ward into 7th place. Into the hairpin they go. Can Ward slow it down enough? Yes, he can. Excellent move from Alex Ward. Taking on the straight. Cleanly takes the hairpin. Jamie Dory trying to pounce again on Albin Kjellgren. See, the thing is with these rear-wheel drive cars, they're not quite as good coming out of the corners as the 4-wheel drive cars. But significantly good under braking. Look at that, Jamie Dory up the inside and closing the door was Albin Kjellgren there. And that's William Foyle, championship leader, right behind the Mustang. Hoping to capitalise on that. He's also got Ian Deeney behind him, a fellow Mercedes driver. There's not many of William Foyle's championship rivals around him right now, so he'll be quite happy with where he is. Oh, look at that, straight up the inside, Jamie Dory of Albin Kjellgren, and Kjellgren gets the cutback, a little bit of contact involved, but it's a very narrow corner and Kjellgren managed to get that back. Jamie Dory with a little nudge up the rear of the Swedish driver going through the S-curve, and look at that, Kjellgren can just get the power down real early coming out of the S-curve. Jamie Dory's only hope is catching the heavy Audi down the straight with the Mustangs. Much larger brake horsepower of more than 500. Oh, William Foyle very sideways coming out of the hairpin there. Has that brought Ian Deeney into the fray? No, it hasn't quite yet. And look how much the Mustang and Audi have pulled away from the Mercs behind them. It's certainly a track more tailored to these two cars with more horsepower and different, well, some of them anyway, different drivetrains. Across the curbs they go. 6 minutes into this 10-minute race so far. So Ollie Janssen currently in the position which enables pole position for race 2. Ben Payne has been a star in the DTM 2020s, down in 10th at the moment. Oyvind Andersen, the only Opel in the field, they're in 12th place. Our only retiree so far is Jeff Purkis, who seems to be hanging on for race 2. It does go straight into race 2, so you can't leave and come back. You have to stay sitting in the garage watching the racing. That's big points dropped for Jeff Purkis, not what he'll need, seeing as he's going for championship positions in the 92s here. And he is in 2nd place in the overall championship, which is a combination of the two, 2020s and the 92s. So let's see what's going on elsewhere in the field. We've got Ian Deeney still not too far away from William Foyle. Ian Deeney's had a very, very roller coaster type season. He was very impressive in Zolder with 2 4th places and a 2nd place in the feature race. The rest of the season has been a lot of bad luck along the way, been involved in a few incidents, punctures in the 2020s, which have led to DNFs. Certainly been a what-if season for Ian Deeney. Kilgren is back behind Jamie Dory. That might have happened coming out of the hairpin there. And Dory goes very wide into the hairpin. Kilgren might be able to get the power down, get back alongside him, but the power of that Mustang gets back in front. Love to see that move again, but Raceroom doesn't enable replays, unfortunately. So try and stick with these. Look at Kilgren. Oh, and he's a nudge up the rear of Jamie Dory. Dory's into the wall. And he's able to keep that going, but was that a little bit of help from Albin Kilgren? I'm not too sure. Look at that damaged front end though. Jamie Dory was back on the podium, now down in 6th place. Something for the stewards to look at after the race, it seems. A drama already in race 1 here at Norisring. Promotes William Foyle and Ian Deeney up to 4th and 5th place, but with 1.5 minutes to go, Dory might not give up. Might try his hands at Foyle and Deeney ahead of him in the Mercedes. Or the I'm not sure what was happening there. Was that Ben? Yeah, Ben Sisko. Something happening to him. I can't even tell where he is on the track, and he drives right out in front of Lopez. And that was the last corner of the circuit. Spun it up there. And getting away again. Oh, real careful with Lopez driving across him there. But this man, he's got another lap to do. All he had to do was just get off the line. That Audi was going to take him into 1st place either way on the opening lap, the opening straight. And he's just driven away from the cars behind him thereon. William Foyle, championship leader, 4th place. Not many of his championship rivals around him. His closest running rival is Ollie Janssen in 8th place, scoring more points, so further extends his lead at the top. So here we go, Alex Foyle makes his way towards the final corner of the circuit. Jakobsen's gained on him a little bit in this final lap, but it doesn't matter. It's enough for Alex Foyle to take yet another sprint race victory for himself. That's his 5th of the season. Alex Foyle wins race 1 here at Norisring. Alexander Jakobsen comes through in 2nd place. Albin Kilgren, albeit slightly controversial, 3rd place for him. William Foyle, championship leader, in 4th place. Ian Deeney 5th, and Jamie Dory, lots of bad luck for him there, but 6th place for him. Alex Ward takes 2nd place and will start on the front row, as will fellow Mustang driver Ollie Janssen. Scott McLean comes through in 9th place, and his teammate Ben Payne 10th place, with Cameron McPhail not far behind him. A good recovery to 11th from near the back at the start of this race. Oyvind Andersen across the line in 12th place with a very mangled Opel. Roll TK takes 13th place from the back of the grid. Not a bad start for him at all. Tor Oyvind Andersen takes 14th, with Gabriel Lopez eventually coming through in 15th. Frank Tennant facing the wrong way on the final corner there. Will eventually finish 16th. So there we go, your race winner was Alexander Foyle. A lot going on in that race. It was very, very tricky to follow. Very short circuit, so it all happens in one place, it seems. Raceroom. So there we go. That was the opening race of the night here at Norisring. We're going to go straight into race 2 once the server resets for what will be another sprint race. As we mentioned, the reverse grid is 8, so the top 8 in the standings there are reversed to form the starting grid for race 2. Pole position will line up Ole Jansen, in second place Alex Ward, in third place completing the trio of the Mustangs Jamie Dory. Ian Deeney will line up on 4th, and in 5th will line up William Foyle. 6th will be Albin Kilgren, with 7th Alexander Jakobsen, and 8th Alexander Foyle, the race winner of race 1. May take a few minutes for the server to tick over, so we'll do a little bit more housekeeping before we get underway. We do have a lot going on, but the current season that's going on at the moment is the bottom left event we're on right now, with 8 of the 12 well, the 8th in progress right now, but 4 to go after today. We also have a couple of new leagues announced. We have the WTCR League, a 12-round European tour featuring all of Raceroom's TCR cars available to customers, available to use. That's about 80 different liveries you can use in this championship, so do head over to our group to keep an eye on that, which will start in May. But in between these two championships, we also have the Crest Autosport Spa 50, previously hosted by XR Virtual Motorsports, this time hosted by us, which will take place on the 1st of May. A very, very exciting almost 2-hour race, 50 laps of Spa in TCR cars. So there we go, your classified results of race 1 here at Norisring. Alex Foyle takes the win and fastest lap. Jakobsen 2nd and Albin Kilgren in 3rd. 8th, Ole Jansen will line up on pole position for race 2 coming up in just a few minutes' time. So we're now on afternoon time of day, so the temperature shifts a little bit. I believe it goes down. Not that it will affect these drivers, they'll still drive flat out either way. A couple of drivers going out to get a little bit of warming up underway. Jakobsen being one of them, Ole Jansen and Ben Sisko hurtling down to the first corner. So yeah, just a reminder of the itinerary for tonight. We have just completed race 1, but in less than a minute's time we'll line up ready for race 2, which is another 10-minute sprint race where the top 8 finishers of race 1 are reversed to form the starting grid for race 2. People providing entertainment in the back there, lovely, thank you. And then following race 2 we'll go for a quick intermission where the 30-minute feature race will follow. And 30-minute feature race is triple the duration, also means triple the points. So yes, 3 times as many points they score in these heat races. They'll score 3 times as many in the feature race, depending on where they finish. And the grids there, as well as ballast, are based on the qualifying results. So Jamie Dory, despite not getting the race he wanted in race 1, he'll have another crack at the whip in race 3. So here we go. We're about to line up for race 2 today here at Norisring Street Circuit in southern Germany. I do believe there's a driver missing from the field. We'll find out who that is. It might be Jeff Perk. No, Jeff Perk has just started. Someone else has pulled out of the session, but nonetheless, we are here on the starting grid. Lights are red for race 2 here at Norisring. Away we go, and not a bad start from the Mustang. The Mustangs, but look at those Audis get away. Here we go down towards turn 1. Audis everywhere on the outside of the Mustangs. Oh, and there's contact. A big crashing going into turn 1, and they just about get away with it. I think that was Alex Ward getting a bit muddled up there, and look at all these cars bunched up, and that is the Mustang of Jamie Dory turned around in the hairpin there. His luck goes from bad to worse. But a very scruffy start to that race, and the leader coming out of it was Orbin Kjellgren. Coming up from, I think it was 6th place. No, sorry, it was 7th. 6th place on the grid. Got there in the end. And Jakobsen up to 2nd again. And look at this. On the inside is Alex Foyle. Oh, look at all these cars going round the hairpin. Nose to tail. Alex Foyle up into 3rd place already. So the top 3 finishers of race 1 are already into the top 3 right now. 4th and 5th. The front row starters of Janssen and Ward. Ian Deeney in 6th place with William Foyle right behind. Look at that, Jeff Perkins in 8th place already from the back of the grid. Jeff Perkins is up to 8th and moving towards William Foyle to take 7th place. Round the outside he goes, around the hairpin, and he takes the position. Brilliant start here from Jeff Perkins to get himself into the top 7 already. This is Jakobsen right behind Alex Foyle. Oh, and a bit too much taken on that corner. A big crunch of the bodywork on the Audi there, recovering to get round the S-curve. Once you messed up one of the S-curves, it ruins the rest of it. Alex Foyle gets himself into 2nd place. The man who has won double heats in 2 of the 3 races this season. He won both heats in Brands Hatch and both heats at Zolder. So he is the sprint race master. Oh, and something's happened to Alex Foyle. I think his connection's dropped off. He might come back, but we'll have to come back to him eventually. Hopefully nothing's happened to William Foyle. Even, in fact, it might have. 17th for William Foyle there. Oh, they come back. Get your internet sorted, guys. Come on. William Foyle down in 8th place at the moment with a mangled front end. And something's happened to William Foyle. He's pulled over. Getting away now. But this is the championship leader this is happening to. So, maybe he was letting Jamie Dory pass. Perhaps he felt he took out Jamie Dory and was letting him back through. If that's the case, then that's very good sportsmanship from William Foyle, certainly. Ian Deeney outside of Jeff Perkins. Jeff Perkins takes 6th place from him going into the hairpin. Jeff is on a charge here as he makes his way now towards the Mustangs of Ollie Janssen and Alex Ward further up the road, who is closing in on Alexander Jakobsen. But look at this, Alex Foyle on the inside of Orbin Kjellgren. Don't flip the car over, Alex, but he gets away from the hairpin. Kjellgren had the cleaner line. Being mounted up on that curbs did not help the Audi there. But he'll try again on another corner. Jeff Perkins so near Ollie Janssen already. And Alex Ward real close to Jakobsen. I'll look further down the field. Jamie Dory on the recovery drive. 11th now, right behind Ben Sisko. But this is Jeff Perkins alongside Alex Ward, breaking into the hairpin. Here goes Jeff Perkins. He has to back out of it. Brakes solidly to get straight back behind. And the man who DNF'd from race 1 is on the charge to make up some points. Alex Ward closing in on Jakobsen. Look how much power that Mustang has got. Up the inside he goes, into the hairpin we go. Turn 1, Alex Ward taking 3rd place back. Has to try the undercut now, does Jakobsen, and that 4-wheel drive Audi certainly can get it through that corner with so much confidence. And look at this, Alex Foyle at the inside of Kjellgren. Kjellgren shuts the door. It was a bit of a dive from Foyle, but a bit of a closing of the door from Kjellgren. Jakobsen also back down to 4th place by the looks of it. Alex Ward has got alongside him through the S-curve. Into the hairpin, Ward has the inside. And let's see if Jakobsen can get that undercut. Oh yes he can, but Ward might have got himself a decent exit. Yes he has, and that Mustang will probably just pull away down the straights here. Yeah, that Audi cannot keep up with the very, very fast Mustang there. Look at it go down the straights. Ward gets himself into 3rd place, and look at this, battle for the lead now. That's Orbin Kjellgren. Foyle went up the inside again, broke too late. Kjellgren gets the undercut. Brilliant battle between these two as we just tick over halfway in this race. The Jamie Dory comeback as he's in 9th, but William Foyle, the championship leader, down in 12th at the moment. It's not been a good race for him. No clue what's going on with him right now. It looked like his internet had dropped off at one point. That distracted him, but his brother is doing just fine. 2nd place at the moment, right behind Kjellgren. He'll now take to the inside, ready for the hairpin. He'll try again. He'll have to get that car stopped. Side to side contact between the 2 Audi drivers. Coming down to turn 1 they go. Oh, and Kjellgren much later on the brakes than Alex Foyle. Is he able to get it in on the apex? Not quite. Foyle hangs on to the inside, and he has a better run coming out the corner. Now coming towards the S-curve. The inside to be held by Orbin Kjellgren, who might be the better line. Further back, Jakobsen has got back in front of Alex Ward. And look at this, side by side still. Gone to the pavement goes Alex Foyle, I think. Sorry, Orbin Kjellgren onto the curb. And this is Alex Foyle on the inside now, coming down into the final corner. Foyle gets the car slowed down enough and gets in front. Foyle takes the lead here at Norisring. No retort so far from Kjellgren as the back marker of Cammy McPhail is being caught by the pair of these. Alex Ward back into 4th place. Jakobsen takes 3rd back. The only difference in this top 3 is Jakobsen and Kjellgren have swapped places. Jeff Perkins on the charge as well. Might have got himself fastest lap, we'll find out later. Oh, and Cammy McPhail has spun there. Has to let everyone back past, but an unfortunate race for the only BMW driver in the field today. Oh, and Alex Ward cut the corner a bit too much there. Hitting the walls does not have the same effect as hitting a curb here, I'm afraid. Oh, and wide there goes Gabriel Lopez. Let's by Tor Oyvind Andersen. But drops to 14th does Lopez. There is a driver missing from the field here. I can't figure out who it is. Keep an eye on the Jamie Dory comeback. He's a long way back from Ian Deeney, but the Mustang ploughs on in. He'll get another crack in the feature race, starting pole position. This is Orbin Kjellgren trying to hunt down Alex Foyle again. Very late on the brakes is Kjellgren, just about managed to get it in. Further back, Jakobsen in 3rd place, and Alex Ward there losing a little ground from the Audi drivers and losing a bit to Jeff Perkins behind him, who will try and get a 4th place here, which is a huge improvement from the DNF he got in race 1. A spin coming out of the hairpin and went into the tyre wall, damaging the car beyond repair. Further down the field, let's have a look. William Foyle, championship leader in 10th place, has got himself ahead of fellow Mercedes and Crest Autosport driver Ben Payne. And in front of William Foyle is Scott McLean there in 9th in the Audi. We're looking at Alex Ward, who's alongside Jeff Perkins. Perkins is taken to the outside, coming out the hairpin. The Mustang will be quicker down the straight here, but will Jeff Perkins get later on the brakes coming into the hairpin? We'll have to see who is first coming out. We've seen the Audi be able to make the undercut round this hairpin, but Jeff Perkins later on the brakes, tries the outside, continues the outside, much cleaner line, gets through and into 4th place. What a comeback this has been from Jeff Perkins. From 17th on the grid to 4th in just under 9 minutes. Very impressive. It's the same top 3, albeit a slightly different order. Oh, and Alex Foyle powering his way out of the hairpin there. Kilgren not giving up. Still within a second of Alex Foyle. If there was DRS on these cars, it'd be open. Not probably behind the slipstream of Alex Foyle just there. Let's go further back as William Foyle has got himself ahead of Scott McLean there, and into 9th goes William Foyle. He will not lose too many points, finishing 9th compared to the 4th he had in race 1. Jamie Dory battling with Ian Deeney. That's Dory trying the outside, broke a bit too late by the looks of it. Deeney gets himself back into 7th place, and look at that run on Deeney from the Mustang. And there's not much the Mercedes can do about that. Still trying the inside, but Dory gives him a bit of room. Round the corner they go. Into 7th place goes Jamie Dory. And we look to Alex Foyle, as I believe this is the final lap. Just ahead of by half a second. It's another double heat win for Alex Foyle. He comes across the line to win race 2 here at Norisring. Fabulously done by the Brit. Sweden 2 and 3 again, but swapped around. Kilgren takes 2nd this time with Jakobsen in 3rd. Jeff Perkins with a superb comeback from 17th on the grid to finish 4th. Alex Ward, a valiant battle, the first of the non-Audis in 5th place. Ollie Hansen, pole sitter, finishes 6th in the end. Jamie Dory, the comeback was on by him, but 7th in the end by him. Ian Deeney in 8th. Championship leader, a disappointing race for him. Did think he might have spun someone round. He might have spun round Jamie Dory and waited on the next lap to let him by, but he finishes 9th. Does the championship leader. Scott McLean finishes 10th. Good consistent results for him today. And this is what Raceroom does. Sadly. We'll continue where we were. Ben Payne finished 11th place in the Mercedes, with Ben Sisko coming 12th place. To Oyvind Anderson in 13th on his debut to the championship. Gabriel Lopez in 14th, with Oyvind Anderson, the only Opel in the field, finished 15th. Roll TK 16th, and I believe Cameron McPhail was a non-finisher. So we will be going away for a quick intermission while we set up race 3. So there you go. Give us 5 minutes to set up, 5-minute warm-up, and then we'll be on for the 30-minute feature race. Don't go away, folks. We'll be back very, very soon. welcome back to Norisring for round 4 of the Crest Autosport Raceroom League's DTM 1992 Championship, sponsored by the GP Box, the Motorsport Marketplace, an online store for motorsport merchandise and memorabilia. And the prizes for this championship, some goodies for the drivers upon completion of the championship. We'll get Freem UK and lovely stickers prizes. Here at Norisring today in southern Germany. Street circuit, only 1.5 miles long, and it only costs £2.59 on Raceroom. So a nice cheap track, a nice simple track with good racing for you to purchase. Only 6 turns, 4 of them notably braking zones, 2 hairpins and an S-curve in the middle of the lap. 2 corners to the right and 4 to the left in total. Over the years, Norisring has hosted many DTM races, a traditional round of the DTM calendar, and has hosted since the late 80s the DTM's introduction to motorsport. Tonight we have had 2 sprint races and qualifying, but now it's the 30-minute feature race where triple the duration also means triple the points. Triple points on offer for these drivers for their championship bid. And the grid is based on qualifying, and we'll review the qualifying results earlier so you know what the starting grid is. We started off at the beginning of the year at Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit for the 1992s. It's a back-to-back league where we go from 92s to the 2020s week by week. The following week, the second round of the overall season, was the opening round of the 2020 DTM's Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit as well. Round 2 of the 92s took place at Zandvoort in the Netherlands. Round 2 of the 2020s took place at Oschleben in Germany. Round 3 of the DTM 92s was at Zolder in Belgium. That was almost a month ago today. And Raceroom was the final round of the first half of the season for the 2020s, round 3. Round 4 of the 2020s took place last week. It swaps around, so it's the 2020s then the 92s. But round 4 last week was at Salzburgring in the Austrian mountains. Norisring this week, the only street circuit on the calendar. But next week, it will be the DTM 2020s at Hockenheimring. 2 weeks from today will be the next round of the 92s, taking place at the Autodrom Most circuit in Czechia. The final round of the DTM 2020s will take place at the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit on the 23rd of March, and then 2 weeks after that, it all ends. The overall outright championship and the 92 DTMs will finish at the infamous Nordschleife Arena, the Green Hell, on the 6th of April. So here we go, drivers warming up ready for race 3 of the night. It's been a thrilling night of racing so far, where the Audis have just dominated the starts of this race, but they have been contested heavily by the Mustangs throughout the night. But this feature race is a long race, and we have seen all season that the Audis have struggled in the latter part of these feature races, where their tyres become so degraded that they have to back off a lot. And that's where William Foyle, our championship leader, it's been a bit of a tortoise and hare situation with him this season, where in the feature race he's just able to hook it up and make the most of the feature races. He's won every single one so far this season. Can he make it number 4 tonight? We'll find out. But it has been his brother impressing things tonight, as Alex Foyle has taken both heat wins. We've had 8 heats this season, 6 of which he's won. He won both at Brands Hatch, both at Zolder, and both today earlier on here at Norisring. He got 2 8th positions in round 2 of Zandvoort, so not such a good round for him, but this week is looking very good for him indeed. We've got to look out for the Mustangs as well, as they've been very strong today. Jamie Dory being one of them, Alex Ward another. He was highest of the non-Audi finishers in race 2 on his debut to the championship, so kudos to him. And the other Mustang is Ola Janssen. The Mercedes have gone strong in the feature races this season, so look out for William Foyle, of course, Tonga Guardia is one to look out for. He had a very, very impressive race 1, finishing 7th, I believe. Also look out for Ben Payne in the other Mercedes, as well as Tor Øyvind Andersen on his debut to the championship. The lone Opel entry of Øyvind Andersen there in the yellow, black and white Opel, and the only BMW in the field today, as all the BMW drivers seem to be having a day off for some reason. Cammy McPhail waving the flag for BMW today. But ultimately, these feature races are, although William Foyle has won every single one this season, they have been extremely hard to predict, because it's been hard to tell how much the Audis will falter later on in the race, and sometimes they faltered more than others or less than others. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Can he make it number 4 tonight? Can we see the only race of the season so far where Alex Foyle wins all 3 races? That's something we'll have to find out. So, the starting grid for this feature race, which starts in just in less than a minute's time. Jamie Dory will start on pole position with Alexander Foyle in 2nd place. Alex Ward will start 3rd place with William Foyle in 4th place. Jeff Perkis in 5th place with Alexander Jakobsen in 6th. Ian Deeney 7th with Albin Kjellgren in 8th. Ollie Hansen will start 9th with Scott McLean in 10th. 11th will be Tor Øyvind Andersen with Tonga Guardia in 12th. Cameron McPhail 13th, line up alongside him Ben Payne. Ben Sisko 15th, 16th Gabriel Lopez, 17th Øyvind Andersen, and at the back, Roll TK. So here we go, drivers are lined up on the grid for this feature race at Norisring for the Crest Autosport Raceroom League's DTM 1992 edition. Here we go, drivers are lined up on the grid, 30 minutes about to get underway. Jamie Dory starts on pole position, Alex Foyle alongside him, lights are red. Away we go, and as expected, a lightning start from the Audi of Alex Foyle. Away go the Audis, but alongside Jamie Dory there, Alex Ward had a very, very good start, challenging for 2nd place there in the midfield. Coming into turn 1 to go, Alex Foyle will lead, coming into the first corner. Slowing up they go. 3 wide there between these 3 here, Anderson, Janssen and McPhail, but they all get through turn 1 safe and sound. Foyle leads at the end of the first corner, with Jeff Perkis right behind him. Alex Ward keeps himself in front of most of the Audis that burst themselves into the lead early on in race 1 and race 2. Very impressive start for Alex Ward. Now coming into turn 1, Alex Foyle leads the way, guarding the inside line going into the final corner. Let's keep an eye on Jamie Dory, he was the pole sitter. He's in 5th place there alongside Albin Kjellgren. Oh, smashed up into the wall by Kjellgren. Him and Kjellgren have not got along today, we have to say. William Foyle, championship leader, behind him in 7th place at the moment. But at the end of lap 1, Alex Foyle leads, but that is Øyvind Andersen, spun coming out the final corner. We have to go into turn 1 here. Jakobsen right behind Ward in the Mustang sandwich here. Oh, and look at that. There's a slow getaway for Alex Foyle coming out the hairpin. Jeff Perkis might have snuck himself in front, side by side going through the S-curve. Jeff Perkis will have the inside for the next bit as long as he stay alongside. No, he can't, and Alex Ward is now trying the inside of Jeff Perkis. Alex Ward now, the initial first lap where the Audis are lightning quick, has gone out the way. Ward can get himself into battle mode. He's right behind Alex Foyle, and Jeff Perkis had to avoid Alex Foyle there, and up the inside goes Alex Ward. Into 2nd place he might go. He'll have the upper hand of brake horsepower coming down the back straight here, but he has to nip back into 3rd place. Here we go. The Mustang kicks into gear, into 5th gear. Towards 150 miles per hour we go. Braking into turn 1 we go. Is he going to try the inside of Alex Foyle? Yes, he does. Oh, gets his stop just in time. He's on the inside still. Oh, and a nudge up the rear from the Audi. And Alex Ward just about keeps hold of it. He was very, very lucky there, but Alex Foyle nips back into 1st place. Jeff Perkis on the inside of Alex Ward, who has to nip back into 3rd place. Hasn't moved anywhere, but he was very, very lucky not to have spun it there. And oh, Jeff Perkis getting a nudge up the rear from Alex Ward. Oh my word, there's so much going on. It's only lap 3. It's a 30-minute race, guys, and up the inside of Jeff Perkis goes Alex Ward. Oh, 3 wide going around the hairpin there. Jeff Perkins goes very, very wide. Jakobsen there, and that's Jeff Perkins going all sorts of shapes and pairs there. Pairs and shapes, I was meant to say. And he drops to 7th. Right behind William Foyle and trying to stay in front of Ian Deeney there. But Alex Ward, look at that, gets himself into 2nd place. He's going to try the inside of Alex Foyle going into turn 1. Not able to get up the inside. Jamie Dory gets back into 4th place. William Foyle up the inside of Albin Kjellgren here. That's Ian Deeney dropping back behind Torvind Andersen. Come out of nowhere, he's into 7th place. A brilliant start for him. Back towards the front, Jakobsen. He's been in the top 3 contention in every race so far today. Breaking into the hairpin. Alex Ward so late on the brakes, had to avoid Alex Foyle. And look at that, they both go wide, and Alex Jakobsen will take the undercut and will get up the inside, coming round the final corner. But Alex Ward has so much speed down this back straight here. Ian Deeney, I think, might be has spun. Yes, he has. Coming out the final corner, he will recover. But look at this, down into turn 1. Alex Ward will go to the outside now instead of Alex Foyle. Oh, can't try the undercut. Alex Foyle foiled him there. Jakobsen undertakes Ward and potentially Foyle as well. There's something happened back there. Tonga Guardia and McPhail have had to come in together. Get away, thankfully, to continue the race. Oh, look at this through the Esquivel. Oh, and there's so much contact between the 3 of them, nearly 4 of them. And look at that. Championship leader William Foyle has caught up to the rear of them as they tiptoe over each other. 2 Mustangs versus 2 Audis at the moment. Up the inside goes Alex Ward. He's been so brave overtaking on this course today. And look at that, he's up the inside. And that looked like William Foyle up the inside of Jamie Dory. What a brave move from William there. Gets himself into 4th place. Now let's get on board with Alex Ward, the fastest car on the track, this seems. Bursting down towards turn 1. William Foyle has dropped back behind Jamie Dory, and Alex Ward was covered off by Jakobsen there. Look how deep Foyle has gone, and that will mean Jamie Dory and Alex Ward can get the undercut. Foyle couldn't get himself past via the wall. That puts Jakobsen into 1st place. Inherently takes 1st there, but Alex Jakobsen has just been cool, calm and collected and got himself into 1st place by undercut so far. That's all you need to do to win races sometimes. Alex Ward gets himself, well, stays in 2nd place, but a bit of a swap between 1st and 3rd. Foyle is in 4th again. Coming into the final corner here. I want to go look at the rest of the field, but I just can't take my eyes off this right now. Take a quick sip of the drink before any more drama happens. We got Kjellgren and Perkins catching up to this train at the back here. Thing is, with these Audis, their tyres are going to go off much quicker than the other cars, with it being 4-wheel drive. That'll be where the Mustang gets its advantage, and a bit of a nudge up the rear from Alex Ward on Jakobsen. Jakobsen just about keeps hold of it. Around the S-curve we go. Things have calmed down a little bit. The initial first few lap dash. And this is the top 7 we're looking at. So close together. Coming towards the final hairpin. Ward roars through the Mustang's gearbox. Can't quite try an undercut on the Audis. The Audi's just a little bit better on the corner exit than the Mustang. You'll have to try another tactic. Go down the back straight we go. Jamie Dory in the Mustang, much quicker than the Mercedes. William Foyle tells Dory to go to the outside and just cuts him off on the outside there. And look at that! Was that a spin from Foyle? No, it wasn't. It was a half spin, but gets away and back in front of Alex Ward. Into 2nd place he goes. Ward's back down to 3rd place. Dory there still in 5th place. Oh, and that's a spin. That's a spin for Alex Ward. I'm not sure what happened there. We missed it, but oh, now he drops off and he's able to get away. Just about stays ahead of Torvind Andersen. No, he doesn't. Oh, better camera angle than that, please. And Ward collects Andersen as well, and now Ward will have to try again to catch up with these guys. And Jakobsen nearly spinning, coming out the hairpin there. Foyle went very wide, and looking at his brother is trying at it now. The master of the feature race is just plucking away at these guys one by one. And look at that, Jamie Dory has got a much more powerful car than these guys around him. A lot of ballast on board, granted. Now he'll try the inside of Alex Foyle going into the hairpin, not able to get it up the inside. Foyle was too late on the brakes there. Kjellgren gets up the inside, as does Perkins, and it's a spin there for Jamie Dory. My word, he can't get the exit of that corner right today. And look at that, there's someone pulling over as well. Kjellgren's pulled over into the gravel. It's all happening in this last lap or so. Now, where has Alex Ward gone? Alex Ward's back into 5th place. He might be able to catch up on these guys. Jamie Dory drops down the order. It's not been his night. He's been so quick. Pole position in qualifying and been battling amongst the leaders, but bad luck has really gotten his way tonight. Kjellgren drops down to 10th place. I'm not sure if he eased off to let back through Jamie Dory. And something's happened to William Foyle. He spun on the final hairpin there. We're not able to get replays, but he might have spun coming out the final hairpin. That drops into 7th. There's so much going on in this race. And look at that, further up, that's Janssen versus Tor Øyvind Dansen. Tor Øyvind Dansen, whose first race of the season today, is up in the top 5. Battling with Ollie Janssen at the moment. There is Foyle in front of McLean and Dory, with Kjellgren on the back of them. Jakobsen pulling away a little bit. So Jakobsen is finished 3rd and 2nd tonight. The obvious progression is to 1st, and he hasn't had a win yet this season. Touch wood, let's not jinx him tonight. But a podium spot all night long for Jakobsen. It's on course for a win right now. Still plenty of time to go, though. This is Scott McLean looking at William Foyle, who looks to be pushing very hard to try and catch up with the Audis up front. Again, tortoise and hare situation with these drivers who are not in Audi cars. This will be the point that Jakobsen does not want to be sliding around corners. He wants to be conserving the tyres. 10 minutes into this race at the moment, with plenty more to go. Dory and McLean side by side. Dory has to tuck back in as they go through the S curve. Jeff Perkins giving up on Alex Foyle ahead of him. And they can't quite catch up with Alexander Jakobsen. They've let him get away a bit too much, and Jakobsen has got a bit comfortable. Again, it's all about conserving tyres, and that might be what Alex Foyle is thinking at the moment. There's been a lot of push and shove at the start of the race, which will cost the tyres a lot of tread. But at this point, you have to consider settling down and conserving the tyres to the end. Highest of the non-Audis yet again is Alex Ward. He's been very impressive tonight. Øyvind Andersen, son of Øyvind Andersen. Sounds like a Lord of the Rings character, that does. In 5th place there, very, very impressive. And look at that, Alex Ward. Sorry, what's happened to Alex Foyle? Oh, Alex Foyle's internet has dropped again. He'll come back. Øyvind Andersen there in 5th place. Yep, as the Foyles return. Very impressive final race from him. I don't know what he's... Never mind that at the background there. That's the Foyle residence internet connection having its frequent drops. They need to get that sorted. But 5th place for Andersen at the moment. Very, very good stuff for him indeed. Just holding off Janssen. I don't know where it's come from, Andersen being at the front there. Certainly worth noting. And McLean breaking very, very early, much earlier than Jamie Dory. Bursts into 7th place there. Probably a little too late on the brakes, but gets the position nonetheless. Does Jamie Dory, and his charge back towards the front continues. So something's happened to William Foyle. Something's happened to Alex Foyle. No. William Foyle has dropped off. William Foyle's internet might have dropped, but Alex's hasn't. Drama still. Oh, and Janssen, a bit too much power on the exit there. Couldn't quite get round the final corner. Øyvind Andersen retakes 5th place. Now back with Jamie Dory, following another Mustang down the front straight here. Been a very Mickey Mouse race so far. Jeff Perkins into 2nd place. I think with Alex Foyle's internet mishaps has put him into 3rd place consequently, with Alex Ward regaining on him. And Alexander Jakobsen, what a drive he's had in this race. Reminiscent of Alex Foyle in the first race. 5 seconds out in front, but he has to conserve the tyres. There's a huge risk of once your tyres get to 0% tread, which will happen around about lap 31, which isn't far away. It's, you know, they're not even halfway and they're starting lap 15 now. That will happen and it could cause a puncture. Be so careful about this. Now, Jamie Dory right behind fellow Mustang driver Janssen in front there. Can't quite get it alongside. The ballast really weighing down Jamie Dory. 40 kilos of ballast, which is making all the difference clearly. Will also affect his braking. It means you have to brake a little bit earlier with that much ballast on, particularly in heavy cars like these. Kilgren. A promising start to the night with 2 podium positions. Drama early on in this race. Sits in 9th right now. That's Tor Oyvind Andersen right in front of Janssen and Dory we're watching there. Battle from 5th starts. And I've just had confirmation that William Foyle has disconnected from the race, so it will not be a 4th in a row for William Foyle tonight. There will be a new feature race winner tonight in the 92s. Jamie Dory very late on the brakes, had to get to the right to avoid Janssen. But he just cannot, the fellow Mustang in front of me, just cannot get it alongside and get him under braking. It's a very tricky overtake Jamie Dory has to negotiate here as we go back with Alex Ward, who's caught up to Alex Foyle. Now I think that front end damage on Alex Foyle is nothing to do with the battling he's had today, because look at the cars around him, they're all... Alex Foyle's dropped off as well. No he hasn't, well, he went very wide of the hairpin there. It's really strange what's going on with the Foyles. They're just disappearing and then reappearing. And he's dropping back hugely is Alex Foyle. There's something strange going on with that car today. Ben Sisko has retired into the pits, unfortunately for him. That's a DNF for him. But Alex Ward into 3rd place. There's a bit of a position swap between Ian Deeney and Cameron McPhail. Into the top 10 is Cameron McPhail at the moment. Tor Oyvind Andersen is in the pits. That's the driver we saw dropping down. Now, was that the right decision from Tor? Now, his inexperience might have told there is the other drivers know it's better not to pit, to conserve your tyres until the end, but Oyvind at the halfway point decided I'm going to take tyres on. 40 seconds down from the leader, will it pay off? I think we'll find out sooner or later. So Jakobsen still in the lead, more than 5 seconds ahead of Perkis still. There's no answer to the Swedish driver at the moment. Alex Foyle, who's won both heat races, hasn't won a feature race yet this season. He had a DNS and did not start in Zolder, a DNF at Zandvoort and a 5th at Brands Hatch. He's had a bit more luck in the 2020s with 5th and 4th and a 2nd at Lauschertsring, a DNF at Brands Hatch. So it hasn't been, certainly been the sprint race proven driver. And there's a driver, Jakobsen's in the pits. So Jakobsen has decided not to gamble on taking it to the end of the race. He's decided to come into the pits to take on tyres. That is a gamble. Sacrificing the lead to Jeff Perkis for the sake of taking on new tyres. Will it pay off? We'll find out. The thing is, these Mustangs might be able to stay out. And that's Jeff Perkis not far ahead of Alex Ward. Will Alex Ward brave it to the end? We know Jeff Perkis is going to try it. We know what Jeff's like. Alex Foyle probably see gold ahead of him as into the pits goes Jeff Perkins. Completely surprised us there, completely proved me wrong. He must have been listening and thought, up yours, Alex. I'm going in the pits. So, Alex Ward leads his first lap in the Crest Autosport Leagues here. And a drive-through penalty for Alexander Jakobsen, our previous race leader. Gets a drive-through penalty for speeding the pit lane, as did Tor Øyvind Andersen. Oh, drama for the front runner of Jakobsen. So, let's see what happens to Jeff Perkins here. But Alex Ward is currently in the pole position to take the race win. He's got to battle intensely here with Alex Foyle, though. There's a lot of Alexes in this field. Maybe I should revert to surnames. Oh, look at that lunge up the inside from Foyle, but Ward bravely gets it round. Do not go away, people. We have no idea who's going to win this feature race. Jamie Dory gets back into the top 3 with Perkis in the pits, who has come out now. There's no drive-through penalty for him. Taking it easy there, but he's now a lap down. That's the thing, he's taking on tyres, he's got to get past these drivers, and he's got to catch them with 11 minutes to go. This is a predicament for Alex Foyle. He needs to conserve the tyres to the end, but he has gold right in front of him. Oh, look at that, Alex Ward has spun into the wall. Has he kept it going? Is there damage on that front end? No, there isn't. He might have just about got away with it. But a mistake coming out that final corner with the rear tyres becoming degraded. Cameron McPhail has spun into a bit of an alcove there. He was in 9th place. He was in 8th place. Oh, and Jamie Dory. What's happened to Jamie Dory there? That's Dory and Kilgren into the wall there. Lord knows what's happened to them two there. Was it Scott McLean or... Not entirely sure, but Jamie Dory in the wall there. His luck continues. Down to 6th place he goes. Oh my god, this race is just... I can't cope. I cannot cope. I do not know who's going to win this race now. Alex Foyle has got himself into the lead. He needs to look after those tyres, but he's got Alex Ward who's going to hunt him down behind him. Another Mustang in the top 3 of Ole Jansen. This really is the track the Mustang loves. 3 Audis in the top 5. Scott McLean gets himself into the top 5. Finishing there for him will be his best finish of the season so far, if he can finish there. Do not go away, people. These results might not stay as they are. They might not. We'll find out. Jamie Dory with a lot of damage on his car has to come onto the comeback again. Down the other end of the straight, that's Alex Ward and Alex Foyle. So, Jeff Perkis, first of the people who've pitted, is right behind. Oh dear, and that's a really scruffy hairpin for Jeff there, as he's behind. I think that might be Kilgren in front of him. Yeah, Kilgren, who is a lap ahead, might remind you. Kilgren doesn't have to let through Jeff Perkis. Jakobsen a lot further behind than Perkis is. A lot further behind Perkis. They're a minute behind. It's really not looking good for those two drivers. Took the gamble and it may not have paid off, but it is all dependent how much higher they can get. And we'll see if these Audis who have stayed out can hang on to the end. There is Foyle, Kilgren and McLean. McLean, who is guarding off from Jamie Dory, takes to the outside, and oh, Scott McLean moved across, did not know Jamie was there. Jamie has really been in the wars today. Not many of it his fault, I will be honest, as he just about stays in front of Ian Deeney there. And at some point in the next 7.5 minutes, we've got to choose our driver of the day, our Grand Prix box driver of the day. Many candidates for that. Alex Foyle being one of them, as he's dominated tonight. Alex Ward has driven brilliantly tonight. Jamie Dory has been brilliant tonight, but just had so much bad luck. So, yeah, we'll continue. We'll see what happens for the remainder of the race. Let's get back on a sit rep with the front. Alex Ward just under 2 seconds behind Alex Foyle. With the slip up he had earlier, hasn't really gained much on the fellow Brit. And Foyle's internet's dropped again. Has it dropped for good? No, it hasn't. He blips back in front. This is such tentative stuff in the Foyle household tonight. The championship leader, William, dropping off from the feature race here. The feature race which has the most points on offer. Alex Foyle's internet is very tentative to say the least right now. Back with the battle for 5th. Jamie Dory still right behind Scott McLean, who goes very sideways coming out of the hairpin there. And Jamie Dory gets a very good run on the Audi, coming down the front straight here, side by side between the two of them. And I think Jamie Dory's got himself front. Yes, he has. Scott McLean tucks back behind to get the slipstream. Scott McLean falls out of the top 5. Jamie Dory breaks into the hairpin, shaking his car side to side to make sure it slows down, but completes the overtake. And Ian Deeney, who's had a very quiet night, there in 7th place. Ben Payne, who we haven't mentioned much tonight, in 8th place there. He's been nice and consistent tonight, so kudos to him. Oh, and look at that. It was a very sideways. I think that was Albin Kjellgren back. No, it wasn't. Oh, Albin Kjellgren and Jeff Perkins still battling, I think. Is that Perkins on the outside of him there? Yes, it is. He still can't get past. A very mangled front end on that Audi for Jeff Perkins, whose night hasn't really gone to plan. He had a bursting drive in race 2. He's alongside Albin Kjellgren now, who doesn't give him much room, but tucks behind. Jeff Perkins gets the move. Has he completed it? Not necessarily. Yes, he has. Just about. Ian Deeney right behind Scott McLean. Was dropped back a bit from Jamie Dory, who's in 5th place convincingly. Albin Kjellgren in 4th place. He was a long way behind Ollie Jensen. So Emil Foyle comes out of the final corner. Alex Ward is within a second of him. Now we progress into the final 5 minutes where tyres are crucial. One of Foyle's eyes will be on the rear view mirror of Alex Ward right behind him. One of them will be on his tyre telemetry. I suppose he won't have any eyes on the road to that conclusion, but we'll keep an eye on things. Scott McLean looking to get by Roll TK ahead of him. That's Roll TK because he rides the same livery as William Foyle, and a bad exit from the corner from Ian Deeney. We have Scott McLean. This will equal his best result of the season if he can manage 6th. But he's really enjoying these 92s this season. Has been one of the most improved this season, we've got to say. Ward within half a second of Alex Foyle. Just shy of 4 minutes to go in this 30-minute feature race. This is the battle for the lead. This will be the point that tyres are at their critical points where you've got to feather the throttle on and be so gentle with your inputs. Earlier braking than usual. Smoother turning. Foyle using every bit of the road to try and get the most out of that car. Most out of the tyres. That's McPhail spinning in the hairpin. He's still in the top 10 though. That's still a place to be proud of for McPhail in 9th there. Oh, look at that. Foyle very wide in the hairpin there. You can just tell his tyres are creeping off the scale. The front tyres will be more worn than any other driver on this track. And look at that, Alex Ward right behind Foyle. He'll take to the inside. Foyle goes to defend. A little bit of contact there. Ward hangs on bravely. Up the inside he goes. And Foyle will try the undercut, but Ward breaks so early and he gets himself into the lead. Brilliant move from Alex Ward in the Mustang there. Into 1st place he goes with just 2.5 minutes to go. Alex Foyle, what can he do? His tyres just creeping off. And he has to fight back on the Mustang ahead of him. Alex Ward, who I thought binned it a few laps ago, spinning on that corner we just went through there. There's still time, however, but back into first place he goes on his debut to the championship today. What an impressive run it has been for him. And a real bad exit from that hairpin. That gets Alex Foyle back into contention alongside him. This race is not over by a long shot. But that Mustang is so much quicker down the straight. Look at it go. Foyle can't do anything about it. Into turn 1. Foyle has to be so conservative with the car, but drive it to its absolute maximum. And look how much damage is on it. I think that damage is due to the disconnection he half had, which is a bit complicated to explain. So here we go into the final corner there. 1.5 minutes to go. I believe these drivers will have 2 more laps. We'll resume with them shortly. Scott McLean trying the inside of Ian Deeney. Deeney is into 6th place. Good exit from Scott McLean there. Let's get back with Alex Ward and Alex Foyle. Ward gets away on the straight there. That is where he's going to make up his time on Alex Foyle. Jump back with Scott McLean still behind Ian Deeney. Jamie Dory real close to Albin Kilgren in front of him. Dory pleased if he can get himself into 4th. He won't catch up with Ollie Hansen in 3rd. To the outside he goes, and Dory forced to the wall yet again. A frustrating night for Dory tonight. Foyle still challenging the Mustang. Oh, and Ward goes wide. Foyle will try the undercut. Not able to get past just yet, but they'll start the final lap now. Will these two? We'll stay with these two for the entire lap. Across the line, the Mustang has the advantage here with all its straight line speed. More than 500 brake horsepower to the just over 400 on the Audi. Into turn 1 they go. Alex Ward's tyres must be gone. Oh, Foyle hits the rear of him, nearly takes him out almost. And look at this, Alex Foyle is much cleaner through the corners than Ward. Ward must be on his last legs when it comes to the tyres. Through the S-curve they go. There's only one more opportunity for Alex Foyle to do it. He's so close to Alex Ward now. Look at that, they were such in coming out of the final S-curve. Down towards the final hairpin they go. Will Alex Ward defend it? Foyle goes for the inside. He's up the inside, but he goes wide. Alex Ward gets the undercut, and that'll be it. Alex Ward will win this feature race here. Yes, he will. What a fantastic win for Alex Ward. Feature race win with Alex Foyle coming through 2nd place. Not bad, Alex. First and a 2nd. Impressive stuff from him tonight. Who will be our driver of the day today? Mr. Alex Foyle. Hugely impressive. 3rd place comes Ollie Hansen there in 3rd place. And in 4th place, Jamie Dory crosses the line side by side with another Audi. Ian Deeney will come across the line in 5th place. Look at all them Audis crossing the line. That's Scott McLean versus Albin Kilgren. Kilgren just finishes right behind Scott McLean in 7th there. Cameron McPhail has had a busy race, but comes through in 8th place. And just behind him is Ben Payne. Taking the gamble, and it didn't pay off. Jeff Perkis will come through in 10th place. Alexander Jakobsen in 11th. This is what Raceroom does. Gabriel Lopez 12th. Roll TK 13th. Tor Øyvind Andersen had a promising start to this race. Will come through 14th eventually. Øyvind Andersen in 15th. And the non-finishers... Sorry, Øyvind Andersen is a non-finisher, as is Ben Sisko. William Foyle with the disconnection. And Tonga Guardia, who also had a disconnection. So a lot of them tonight. But your race winner, Alex Ward. Your Grand Prix box driver of the day, Alex Foyle. What a night of racing it's been. Norisring, what a track. Get it. Get it if you're a league owner. Get it in your series. What a track it is. Unbelievable. Right, a little bit of housekeeping before we wrap things up tonight. Next week, we're at Hockenheimring for the DTM 2020s. And in 2 weeks today, we'll resume with the 92s at the Autodrom Moss Circuit in Czechia. Not the most well-known track in the world, but believe me, it is a good track. A roller coaster of a circuit. You'll see these cars sliding through crests and curves on a 19-corner circuit. It'd be very, very good. The finales are at the end of this month and the beginning of next month, with each championship, Nürburgring being the final round of the 2020s on the 23rd of March and the 6th of April for the 92s. We have, there we go, donuts by Alex Ward there. Just get rid of that for you. The race winner on his debut tonight. Highly impressed with Alex Ward. If it weren't for Alex Foyle's mostly dominance tonight, he would have been, he was an honourable mention for driver of the day tonight. Thoroughly deserves the feature race win here. A little bit more housekeeping before we leave. We have some leagues coming up after this DTM season. The next season we'll be hosting on Raceroom on Tuesday nights will start in mid-May of the WTCR European Tour. 12 rounds of some of the most famous circuits in Europe, where you can choose up to 80 liveries. We've got Jamie Dory doing donuts in the pits as well. He's such a show-off. We also have the Crest Autosport Spa 50 coming up on the 1st of May, where sign-ups will open for that in just a few weeks' time. There is your race winner and your driver of the day, double race winner, Alex Foyle. But there you go, there's your classified results tonight. Alexander Jakobsen took fastest lap and led for the majority of the race, but Alex Ward wins the race just ahead of Alex Foyle. Ollie Hansen in 3rd place, Jamie Dory in 4th. 5th place to Ian Deeney, with 6th place going to Scott McLean. Orwin Kjellgren took 7th place with Cameron McPhail in 8th. Ben Payne 9th, Jeff Perkis rounding out the top 10. This has been the Crest Autosport DTM 92 Championship here at Norisring. Round 5 is next in 2 weeks' time at the Autodrom Moss Circuit, but as we said just a moment ago, next week, a week today, is the DTM 2020s at the Hockenheimring. Do tune in for that. Do subscribe to our channels, give us a like on Facebook, and join the groups if you want to get involved in the racing. We'll see you 1 week time at Hockenheim. Thank you for watching.